Hey, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to transfer a land title if owner is deceased. So this is a very similar way of any piece of land that you're looking at. Maybe the owner's no longer alive, or it was left to somebody else that inherited it and they're now trying to sell it to you. This is a very similar way to transfer the title on a piece of land where the owner has died or passed away or they're now deceased. All right, before I describe how to navigate the courts and how to hire the right person to help you do that and to understand it, go ahead and hit subscribe. I come out with videos 5 days a week talking about land, how to buy it, how to sell it, how to get it legally, and can you legally sell it by yourself? All right, bad news never gets good with time. So let's talk about time. When a landowner dies or when someone dies that has a piece of land or a property, a lot of things happen. Things start to accumulate, like the land grows up or the property deteriorates, but also the taxes are not getting paid, or maybe the mortgage, if there's a mortgage on it, or a lien. A lot of things are happening, and just because someone dies and stops paying for it doesn't mean that land's going to be available to you for a year or 2 years down the road. So you need to start now. You need to plan now. The first place I recommend starting is talking to a title company. Whether you're buying this land or you inherited this land, you need to talk to a title company on how to acquire this land in the right possible way. The owner might have had a will. The owner might have already had an estate plan. All these things might already be set in place, but you want to kind of start getting down to the facts. And that starts with a good title company, a title company that deals in land. So you want to talk to them first, show them the entire situation. I don't know if you're trying to buy this land or you might have inherited this land, but it all starts there and talking to a good title company. The first thing they're probably going to request is an affidavit of ownership or an affidavit of heirship. All right, so working with a title company, they're gonna give you several documents, things that they want, and that affidavit of ownership, I just wanna quickly explain it to you. I did a quick Google search. I'm not gonna bore you too much with the details because at the end of the day, they're requiring it, so you'll have to make sure it's done. And a lot of times, this can be done very easy. So quick definition, affidavit of ownership is a document that states the facts that an individual owns a certain property. By definition, an affidavit is written in a general statement of facts and sworn in front of a notary. That's it. It's that simple. Let's keep it simple. So when you're transferring the deed of a piece of land from someone that's deceased, this is going to be a requirement of the title company. Why is the title company requiring this? Because they are doing all the fact checks, all the lien searches. They're trying to get down to the nuts and bolts of everything that's going on with this property, and they're going to give you a title insurance policy that's ensuring that everything they did has been checked, and they're going to stand behind it with this title insurance policy. And if there's any mistakes, this title insurance policy covers these mistakes, these errors, these omissions. Things like this happen, especially when you're transferring land from someone that's deceased or you're buying land from a person that's passed away and no longer with us. All right, so you came to this video, you're trying to figure out what happens to the land when an owner dies. It could be good things, it could be bad things. You never want to just sit on it because, taxes start to accumulate, mortgage payments, if there is one, start to accumulate. Things start to happen, so you want to jump on the process quick. So we're dealing with the title company. Next thing we might have to start talking to is a probate attorney. Hopefully this person that's passed away, no longer with us, had a will. A lot of states require probate. I'll just use the example of Colorado. They require everything to be in probate. Simple terms for probate, and I've downloaded some things. I printed them out. I want to read them to you. But probate, at the end of the day, they just need to make sure everyone is notified. It's kind of a notification system. They want to notify the heirs, the possible other heirs that might exist, the creditors, the people that this person that's passed away might have owed money. They need to make sure that there's nothing owed that they don't want to come after this property. And hopefully all the affairs were in order, but a lot of times, things aren't perfect ever, especially when someone passes away. So these would be the same exact steps of how to transfer the land once the owner's deceased. So the next thing you want to get into is probate, navigating the courts. What is probate? I printed this out. Probate is a legal process of administering a person's estate after their death. That's the simple, easy terms. Now, I highly recommend of hiring a probate attorney only if probate's required. A lot of states do require it, but if you can get around that, the title company is going to let you know. But if you can't, usually probate is anywhere from like $2,500 to $3,500 depending on the actual complications of the estate. Maybe there's multiple properties, maybe there's multiple stones left unturned. So let me just kind of briefly go over, some of the quick things you need to know about probate or what the attorney is charging for it. And once again, I highly recommend just hiring an attorney. Do what you do best and contract out the rest. I live by that. You've got the property or you're buying the property. You want to make sure everything's done right legally because you don't want to go down the road a couple years and find that a stone was left unturned and there's some heir that came after this or a daughter that you didn't know about that the land was left to. So first thing the attorney is going to do is open the probate. Second, they're going to send notices to all the creditors, make sure there's no other heirs in the woodworks. And that's kind of a timely process. That could take up to a month. Next, they're going to take inventory of all the assets, all the land. Number 4, they're going to distribute the assets and then close the estate. And that is how you transfer an estate after the owner has died or the deed to a land after the person has passed away or deceased. All right, I think I've made it all really clear, but I just want to sum everything up. It first starts with the piece of land, the owner's died, not waiting. Things accumulate, taxes, mortgage payments, this, that, and the other. And then, how do you transfer this piece of land once the owner, I should say, has deceased? You want to talk to that title company, find that good title company that deals in land and figure out, is there a will? Is there an affidavit of ownership needed? Is there probate needed? You might get by, the owner of this land that's passed away may have done all the homework for you. You might have inherited this great piece of property. So if you can get around doing all these things, don't do it. Go off of what the title company says you need to do to get this to happen. Or you might have an estate attorney already taking care of all this. But here's how to navigate through it. Here's what's all the process. I hope I've given you all kind of the bigger picture, and then you might have to do less and get this completely taken care of. So you might have went through this whole entire video and be like, well, I'm just trying to figure out what to do with my neighbor's side. I love that piece of land. I want to figure out how to buy that piece of land. Let me tell you how to start that detective work. You want to first figure out who the actual owner on record. You want to get that name and the mailing address because that owner may have already transferred that property to someone else. That could be a personal representative. That's someone that the estate assigns to take care of that estate. So you want to figure out first who is the owner on record with the assessor's website. How to go to that assessor's website. You want to Google your county assessor. So I like to give an example of my county, El Paso County, Colorado. So I'm going to Google El Paso County, Colorado assessor's website, and I'm going to look on there and see who the actual owner of record is and their actual mailing address. It could be as simple as that. You get the owner of record and the mailing address, and you simply write them a letter. Hey, my name is Brent. I'd like to buy your land at 123 Main Street. Don't mention the death. Don't mention, hey, sorry for your loss. None of that, because you're looking at buying the land. You don't want to offend somebody. Let's just say that it's got the same owner of record. Well, you're going to want to then skip trace. Like there's some companies called Been Verified, or there's batchskiptracing.com. I've got a link below in the description you can use, and you get like your first couple skip traces for free. And you're going to want to get the email and the phone number of the actual heirs, or the relatives. That owner of that land might have had a sister or a brother or a father or a mother or even a son or a daughter that you can contact and ask, how do I go about buying this piece of land? I'd love to buy this piece of land. So hope that helps. That will kind of set you on the right path of communicating with how to buy that piece of land from someone that's passed away. All right, so you might have a loved one or a friend that's kind of going through something like this, or they were left a piece of land by somebody and the will wasn't quite right, or you got to do probate. Please share this video with someone that might need it or that might benefit from it.